Thank you so much for clicking on this video. This is going to be a Love Island Beyond the Villa recap slash review of episode number 3, because I did actually do a recap of episode 1 and 2, and I was trying to get a cute little jumbo recap going on because I didn't want to separate episode 1 and 2 since they were released in the same week, but I was having some issues uploading it because the file was too large and it was so frustrating. Anyone that is a content creator can relate because that shit irked my soul. Okay, because I took so long to work on it, and I finally was like, oh, good, great. I can go on ahead and upload my work now. I'm so proud of it. Oh my gosh. All to get down to the end, and the file's too big, and I'm just like, I have to figure this out. Since this is my, my first time doing anything with YouTube, getting my feet wet, I just see it as a learning lesson. Now I know what not to do. Now I know where to navigate. So that's just my little rant, because that really irritated me that I could not upload my video for episode 1 and 2. But anyway, I digress. This is going to be a recap of episode 3, and I thought it was pretty good. Definitely a step up from episode 2 because it was low-key boring as fuck. But yeah, I feel like they definitely gave us some more in episode 3. So let's get into it. Okay, so we pick up where we left off with Liv, Janae, and Kayla at the sit-down lunch. And we finally get some progression in the conversation as to how they can resolve the issue. Liv is asking Kayla, what else can I do to resolve this for you? What can I do for us to move on? Because I've taken ownership, I've apologized multiple times, but you continue to keep bringing it up and throwing it in my face. And Liv really tries to outline where her issues are with Kayla so she can really understand. Her problem is she's not upset that Kayla is upset about anything that she's mad about. She's mad about how Kayla handled the situation in terms of calling her out in front of everyone in the Love Island party, because we already know Liv cares so much about her image. That's what I'm getting. I'm just getting like, girl, Kayla tried to speak to you privately multiple times and you disregarded her and made her feel like her feelings were invalid. So I don't understand why you could be upset at that point, because she got to a breaking point. I think anyone would when it comes down to them trying to have their best friend hear them out about a situation that they felt hurt in. Like, as Liv and Kayla are going back and forth, Janae pulls out of her purse a pack of Nutter Butters and a full banana. I'm just like, girl, same. Same, because they didn't order any appetizers. They didn't order no food. She's over there starving and she's a snacker just like I am. So I saw that, I was like, girl, you came prepared. Janae tries to take control of the conversation, and she makes a point that she was raised on the fact of when you say you forgive someone, you need to really mean it and you need to move on from it after you do so, which I do understand that perspective of it. But from Kayla's end, she just really wants it to be clearly known that Liv hurt her as deeply as she did, and I feel like Liv just doesn't fully understand that. I feel like Liv does understand that she hurt Kayla. I just feel like she doesn't understand how deeply she hurt her and how much this is now going to affect their friendship going forward. I feel like Kayla thinks that the situation is being swept under the rug more, and it's not getting the full accountability that she feels is needed for her to feel as if she's fully being heard. So I understand where Kayla's coming from. In a way, yes, I'm not going to invalidate Liv, even though I do feel like her whole vibe during this sit down just seems so contrived and just disingenuous. I just feel like it just looked so disingenuous. It just looked like Liv cared more about clearing her name versus her and Kayla getting on a better foot. So yeah, they end up deading the situation. They agree to squash it. They hug it out, but they both have the same sentiment of forgiving but not forgetting. So I don't know. It's like they want to say they moved on from it just so they can stop the back and forth, but in the back of their minds for each of them, they feel the same way about each other in terms of looking at each other with a side eye. Like, now I can't fully trust you, and now I can't. It's just like, so did you guys really resolve anything then? I don't know. The whole scene was kind of just like, okay, I'm done with this. Next! We meet up with Connor, Aaron, and his younger brother Daniel is in town for a whole week. And Aaron lets us know how close him and his brother are, and the fact that they had an agreement when they were teens that they would never argue again. And since then, they had been super close. So it was great to see Aaron have that support system from back home in LA, since he has been dealing with the depression and trying to prioritize his mental health. So I was really happy to see that Aaron had his brother here with him. Connor makes a note that he did invite Kenny to the surfing session with them, but he never heard back from him, which should already be expected since you still have not fully resolved the issue you have with Janae. So I don't see why he was surprised or was even thinking that he was gonna show up. He makes a comment that Janae has Kenny on a short leash, and I'm just like, dude, why are you making any comments about Janae? Any comments about Janae, period. Janae, Kenny, their relationship, period. Why even say anything about them? You're just digging a deeper hole for yourself because you know they're gonna see this, right? Huh? Oh, okay. Speaking of Kenny, we meet up with him and Miguel. They're about to go on a hike. And as they are admiring the views of the city, Kenny mentioned to Miguel that Connor invited him to go surfing, but he decided not to go because of the outstanding problems that him and Janae have. He just wants everyone to get along. He wants everyone to act like adults, and he wants everyone to move on from the situation. And same, Kenny, same. It's redundant, it's annoying, it's old. This is so annoying. I'm so tired of hearing about anything to do with Connor and Janae and what happened in the villa last summer. It's like, can we move on? Connor, please give Janae a real apology because she is upset, which I feel is valid. You publicly disrespected her. The way you treated her in the villa was wrong and whack. So yes, you deserve to give her a real apology face to face, because they showed it in episode 1 that Kenny attempted to apologize to Janae via DM. And although we can give some credit to him giving an apology or trying to apologize, you doing it over the phone is not accepted, good sir. I need it face to face. Thank you. Back at the beach, the boys are asking Daniel what American foods he is excited to try, since the foods in the UK look like chewed up throw up. The food in the UK looks disgusting. If you've seen any of the videos on TikTok and you see that people from the UK are making mash with peas and french fries and whatever the fuck, I'm just like, what is this? You guys like this? This is edible? This is good to you? Please make it make sense. It just looks a mess. Connor brings up Liv's housewarming party and asks if Aaron is going to go. Aaron lets it be known he does want to make an appearance, but Connor says he's not able to attend because he's a groomsman in a wedding. And I'm just like, great, Connor, I don't want you on the screen anyway. You're annoying and boring. Next! Aaron starts giving more of his thoughts on how he notices everyone in the group from the villa is trying to be influencers, and they're trying to really get deeper into that influencer world in LA, all that culture stuff. They are both in agreement of how much they don't like being in that environment and they want nothing to do with it, and how much it does affect your mental health. So seeing that they are having these conversations is really putting it into perspective how important it is to take all of these factors into consideration before you decide to put yourself on national television. Back on the hike with Kenny and Miguel, Kenny expresses how much he loves LA, how much he loves the views, how much there's so much more to do versus him being in Dallas. And that leads Miguel into giving us some more details on the progress between him and Leah's relationship. He lets us know that they're in the process of looking for a home to live in together, since right now Miguel has his own apartment in the city and Leah is staying with her parents out in the valley. They've already decided that they want to find a place in the area of where her parents are at so they can be closer to the farm, and because they just love the area overall. So it will be interesting and exciting, I think, to see them do a little house hunting. I think that would be a great segment for them. Kenny gives us some more information on why he decided not to get a unit together with Janae for the summer, and they decided to have separate units in the same apartment building to test the waters to see how their relationship would be with them being so close, since they usually have a long distance relationship, with Janae being in Vegas and Kenny being in Dallas. So he says that he went to boarding school growing up, and he could see how living with someone and being around them so often, not having your own space, can deteriorate and ruin a relationship. And he doesn't want that to happen with him and Janae. So he's trying to do everything he can to take things super slow so they can get into that at the right time, which makes sense. And I do appreciate that Kenny is having more of a mature approach to it versus Janae, who wants to just jump into it and rush into it. And I just don't feel like they are in that space right now to be sharing a spot just based off of how their relationship looks. Miguel tries to give Kenny some sound advice, and he basically tells him that in order for him to see if the relationship will be able to last, or if they can get to that place and still keep the relationship healthy, you have to essentially put yourself into that position. You have to take that risk, quote. So he's telling him, although you do want to take things slow, you also have to be willing to be vulnerable enough to put yourself in those tough situations to really test the relationship to see if it's going to last. Because how else will you know if you guys are going to work out well living together if you don't actually try it? In some aspect, I understand Kenny's approach and I understand that he wants to take things slow, but I think that because of the relationship that Kenny and Janae do have, that is another reason why he's not immediately rushing to wanting to be around her 24/7. And as we get into the episode deeper, we're going to see more of their dynamic and how, in my opinion, they're not as strong as they make it seem. We're just going to keep seeing, but that's just what I'm getting from what the footage we're getting so far. So now we're at Aaron's apartment, and him and his brother Daniel are cooking lasagna. Get to chatting a little bit, and Aaron lets it be known he made a point to stay far away from LA area, and he went out to Venice Beach because of his mental health and him wanting to protect his peace. And I absolutely understand, and I'm glad that Aaron is prioritizing what's going to be best for him and what's going to make him the happiest, because he's already let it be known he doesn't want to be an influencer. He doesn't want to be on social media. That life is just not for him, and it's not for everyone. So I'm glad that Aaron is making a point to really let that be a priority for him, to make sure that he's gonna be good regardless. And his brother asks him, does he think about the show often? Does that still haunt him? Does that still bother him to the point where he feels like he goes back into that negative mindset? And Aaron says that sometimes he will get back into a slump, but for the most part, he does a good job with blocking it out. So that was great to hear from him. Now we're meeting up with Kayla, her friend Kaylee, and Kendall. It's Kaylee's last night in LA. She leaves in the morning, so they're trying to have their last hoorah for the night. In comes two of Kendall's friends, Luis and Torin. And side motherfucking note, okay, look, I was doing a little bit of digging. So I went on to Kayla's Instagram. And can you explain to me why she has multiple photos of her and this guy, Torin, kissing and hugged up and all this ish, as if like they're a couple, they're a thing? And I was just like,
bombastic side eye. criminal offensive side eye.
Didn't we see in just 2 episodes ago you were talking about Caleb? What happened to Caleb? Is he not in the picture anymore? So I kind of already got a few spoilers for knowing that Caleb was no longer in the picture. So I was very interested to see why he wasn't or what happened with that. And we definitely find out in this scene. Kendall, out of nowhere, wants to be messy as fuck. And he goes, oh, I should invite Caleb. Caleb should come. Knowing that him and Kayla are on bad terms. So side note, let's go ahead and fill in the blanks. So I guess Kayla and the whole group just came back from Stagecoach. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's like Coachella, like a music festival, something along those lines. They all were partying together. And Kayla says that Caleb was acting all brand new towards her. He was acting distant and the vibes just weren't the same as they were before. But later on, he wants to be in her DMs or her text messages, basically trying to like call her up for a booty call. That's what Kayla said. Kayla says that he was trying to call her up for a booty call because it was 5 a.m. And he was asking if he could stay with her at her place for a few days while he's in town and XYZ. I'm just like, so make this make sense. You want to, first of all, you guys do this whole making out at Coachella, which I don't know why Kayla thought that meant they were talking or something. I guess from how she explains it, she got the idea that because they made out in a porta potty, that meant they were talking or something along the lines. So I guess now that he's not giving her the attention or they're not macking on each other or whatever the fuck, it's as if he's doing something wrong to her. That's what she's saying. She's saying she has a problem with him because of how he was treating her at Stagecoach, but then wants to hit her up later on as if nothing was wrong. And Kendall knows all of these things, yet he wants to be the messy little bitch that he is to cause some drama because he don't have shit else to do with his fucking life. Clearly, Kendall has nothing going on this show other than causing drama and trying to get in the middle of shit. I want to skip Kendall every time he gets on the screen because he is just so unbearable. And it's just like, for what? You want to sit over here and put your so-called friend in an uncomfortable situation just so you can get some TV drama? Like, you're whack as fuck, Kendall. Checking back in with Aaron and Daniel. And Aaron lets us know that him and his brother are going back to the UK for a whole week to visit his family, and he's letting us know how excited he is and how much that is going to put him in a great place with his mental health. So I think it's great that he's going to get that support that he needs. Daniel asked Aaron if he feels that their parents divorcing has impacted him negatively on how he sees and handles relationships. And Aaron says yes. He thinks that because that happened to him at a younger age, it has distorted his perspective and viewpoint on a relationship and how to go about navigating having a healthy relationship. So I think it's great that Aaron is having that self-awareness and he can realize that on his own, and he can take the steps that he needs to figure out how to work through that. Aaron gives us some deeper insight on what happened between him and Kayla last year and why they didn't work out. They ended up not being in a relationship. Last year, before the reunion, him and Kayla were in New York and they were just fine. Things were great. Things were on a positive note. The second that Liv got to New York, Aaron says that's when Kayla switched all the way up. She stopped talking to him. She stopped hanging out with him. And whenever they did have a conversation, it always came to blows. And he thinks that Liv put a battery in Kayla's back when it came down to the reunion. I do feel like with her being around Liv and Liv being in her ear, she did get amped up a lot more than what I feel like maybe she should have when it came down to the reunion, especially after the fact that she's already nailed Aaron and drilled into him multiple times during, when they were in the villa. So it's just like, where is all this extra animosity now coming from from a situation that we have already talked about multiple times. So from that end, I definitely can agree. Aaron says that Kayla weaponized his parents' divorce against him in an argument they had, and that was the final straw for him. He decided at that point, with that in addition to how she was acting in New York for the reunion, he no longer wanted to pursue a relationship with Kayla, and I definitely agree and understand that, because at that point, now we're just getting toxic and the relationship is not progressing. It's time for us to separate. Back at the restaurant, the whole vibe is completely awkward and weird now that Caleb has joined the group. And he, for real, get this, he wants to act like he has absolutely no knowledge as to why Kayla is upset with him. The entire time he's over here, huh? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you... I know Kayla was just like, dude, you know what? You're right. Just forget it. I'm good. And she and Kaylee get up to go pee so they can get the fuck away from him. And I was like, good, because he is a weirdo. He's whack, lame, and a loser. Next, here we check in with Leah and Miguel, and they're on a cute little lunch date. And they talk a little bit more about their plans to move in together and their process of doing their house hunting and just how eager that each of them are to take that next step in their relationship. And while they're talking, Miguel in his confessional gushes about how much he loves Leah, how much he sees her as a strong woman, and how much she has helped him change for the better. And just seeing him talk about Leah in the way that he does always makes me feel just so happy for them, because seeing people in a healthy relationship should always be the standard, obviously, but toxicity and promoting that in relationships, I feel like, is more normalized now. So when you do see a healthy relationship, you kind of just be like, this is a breath of fresh air. And it was great to see their scenes together. So I'm really excited to see more of their relationship, and those moments that they have that are full of love and compassion and commitment to the relationship is the reason why we want to watch the show. I mean, obviously, yes, sprinkle in some drama, but give us more of this, please. Leah lets us know she found some lumps in her arm that's been really stressing her out, which rightfully so. I would be if I found any lumps in my arms as well. So she has a biopsy appointment later that day so she can go and get some more information. And she just gives us some more details on how she's been handling it. And she hasn't been doing good. She's been overthinking a lot. She's stressed out because she's thinking of the worst possible scenario, which is completely understandable because you don't know what that is. And the first thing that you see when it comes to a lump that you're thinking is it could be cancer of some sort. So I'm really hoping and praying that Leah gets some good news about it, and it's not anywhere near as serious as she thinks, and she's anticipating and hoping for the same thing as well. But Miguel does give her that love and support that she needs. So the whole scene in and of itself, to me, was the best of the whole episode. This scene was so funny. So we're with Kenny and Janae at Janae's apartment, and they want to make a Q&A video for Instagram. So they put a video out for people to send in a couple questions for Kenny to answer about Janae, and it's supposed to test how much Kenny knows Janae. And based off of these answers, Kenny does not know Janae at all. He got every question wrong. He got buzzers left and right. I was like, damn, Kenny, do you know anything about Janae? You might as well have just met her off the street today, because he didn't know not one thing about her. One of the questions was, what's her favorite color? He said turquoise. And she's looking at him like, it's pink and white. I was like, wow, way the fuck off, Kenny. Are you kidding? So another question was, what's her favorite perfume? And he goes, Chanel, all confident. And she looks at him like, no, are you serious? That's not it. I wore the same perfume every day in the villa. You don't remember that? I honestly, this is just another reason of what I'm saying to make it known the relationship between Kenny and Janae is not as strong as they make it seem, because there's no way you don't know these simple things about your girlfriend that you've been in a relationship with for almost over a year now. That should let you know something about the dynamic between the two of you. I just feel like they're two completely different people on two completely different pages. I feel like the cracks are starting to show a little bit in their relationship. I do hope that they can work through that and they can get on one accord and they can really take the time to get to know each other, because clearly Kenny, once again, doesn't know that much about Janae other than what there is on the surface. And another reason as to why it would have been beneficial for you guys to be in the same apartment complex, to utilize that time to get to know each other even more. But I digress. Hey, so this is me editing this video, and I just got the news that Kenny is a motherfucking cheater. He has been exposed, so we can most definitely get a little bit of a spoiler here in real time, knowing that Kenny and Janae are no longer together, but we now know Kenny is a cheater. So now we see Cordell walking to Serena's apartment, and he has his cat Milo with him so Serena could meet him for the first time. Serena let us know in the last episode how much she hates cats because she was attacked by one when she was a child, and I can concur. I also most definitely do not like cats. She takes the initiative to try to get more comfortable around him because she knows that one day her and Cordell are going to be living together as their relationship gets stronger and progresses. So she just wants to get ahead of the game when it comes down to being comfortable around Milo. So they try to get her to play with him and bond with him, and she's not going for it just yet. She's already taken that first step to getting him to her apartment and being around him in a closer proximity. So I guess a win is a win for now. We don't get much of this scene from them. This is actually the only solo scenes we get from them, which is so annoying to me because they are my favorite couple next to next to Leah and Miguel. So I was disappointed that we only saw a little bit of them. We do see them together later at Liv's housewarming party, but we don't see any solo scenes. Obviously, because Cordell's not readily available with his schedule, he's back and forth between here and Atlanta with his acting opportunities. So that's understandable. I just don't like it because I like seeing them on screen together. So we're getting back to Kenny and Janae at Janae's apartment building. And Janae's on the phone with Leah, and she's asking her if she's going to come to Liv's housewarming party, which Leah tells her she's not going to because she just got done with the appointment and she's not really in the party mood because she's still stressed about getting her lab results back, which I understand. And I'm glad that she's taking that time for herself to prioritize, because she lets us know how hard it's been for her to stay present and to stay at peace because she's been overthinking and stressing about the situation. So now we get over to Kayla's apartment, and she's on the phone with Kaylee. And Kayla lets us know that her initial plan for her life after graduating college was to get her master's degree, pursue her career, but then things changed because she went into the villa, and now that she's out of the villa, she feels like she has no clue where her life is going. She has no plan, and she's just going to go with the flow. So that's going to be interesting to see what path Kayla chooses to take during the summer, and I would like to see more of the opportunities that Kayla has and just seeing her grow as a person overall. So that will be interesting to get some more updates on later. She goes on to give Kaylee a quick rundown of the sit down between her and Liv, and she lets her know that they basically did the issue. They agreed to move on, but she still has it in the back of her mind that she can't trust Liv and they have a lot of work to do, but she wants to put the effort in to making that first step. So she does accept the invitation to go to Liv's housewarming party so they can start on the right foot. So now we're at Liv's apartment for the housewarming party, and Janae and Kenny arrive first. Liv tells Janae that Kendall was trying to invite Caleb to the housewarming party.
Oh, you want to get fucked up. You want to get...
When I heard that, I was so irritated. I was already annoyed with Kendall. I was already irritated with Kendall because of how he is doing all this extra to start drama between Liv and Kayla. And then he did that whole thing with inviting Caleb to the dinner, knowing that Kayla had an issue with him. And now he's inviting Caleb to the housewarming party, knowing that Kayla is going to be there. It's like, Kendall, please be fucking for real. Like, do you not see how ridiculous this is? To the point where Liv thinking, this is not cool, Kendall. You know what you're doing. You know you're trying to start problems. Regardless of whatever problems me and Kayla have, I'm not going to do her like that. And I'm glad that Liv at least held true to having that loyalty to Kayla and considering how she was going to feel with Kayla being there. And if we're going to be so real, Caleb is a third party to the third party. He does not need to be there. Does he even know Liv? Are they even friends? It's just like, dude, there is no logical reason for you to invite Caleb other than so you can make Kayla uncomfortable. But then you want to sit over here and call yourself a friend to Kayla. Like, make that make sense. Kendall is, I don't have anything nice to say to Kendall. I don't. I have not one nice thing to say about him. So we're just going to say nothing. Next, Aaron shows up to the party, and that really surprised me because based off of how the dynamic was with him and Liv at the reunion and in the villa, they were always going to blows. There was always drama. So I was surprised that Aaron made an appearance, but I'm glad that he is putting the past behind him. He is being the bigger person and he just wants to show up and be supportive. So that was great for him. Aaron and Kenny have a little chat about the world of influencing and the downsides of being an influencer. They both agree that being an influencer may not be for them, especially for Kenny, since Aaron already came to that conclusion. Kenny gives us some more insight on how his life was prior to going on the show. And he says that he had a sales tech job that he really loved, he really excelled in, and he misses it. So I'm getting the feeling that maybe Kenny is going to end up going back to his job because he's finding out being an influencer isn't all it's cracked up to be. And especially when you are an influencer full time, you definitely have to start understanding what comes with that before you get into that life. And I feel like Kenny did not take any of that into consideration before he went into that. So it's good that he is recognizing that now, so he knows what route he wants to take going forward based off of how he's feeling at that time. But as of right now, Kenny lets us know that he's essentially just not happy being an influencer, and he was happier with his life prior to being on the show. So now we get a rare scene of Aaron and Liv getting along for once, and they both bond over the fact that they both come from out of the country and they are in the States by themselves, and how lonely it is because they don't have any friends or family around, and how important it is for them to have a good support system. I hope that they use this as a way to become a support system for each other, since they can relate so much to each other with their situation, and they can both be that outlet that they need when they really need it. So that was great to see a more positive interaction between the two of them, since in the past it was always volatile, it was always aggressive, back and forth, yelling, screaming, name calling, XYZ. So it was good to see them both calm, mature, and have a good little kiki out of their conversation. In comes Kendall, and the drama already starts. Liv and Kendall have a chat on the roof, and she calls him a stranger. And I'm just like, so are you no longer around Liv like you were from the first 2 episodes, Kendall? Are you now switching up and you're not being around Liv as much as you were? Like, now what's going on? Because again, you were not seen without Liv at all in these last 2 episodes, except for the fact that when you went to Connor's birthday party first by yourself to set up this dramatic moment of Liv walking in by herself. So now it's really interesting to hear that even Liv is calling you a stranger, and you've been distant and you've been not around her as much. It just seems like you're flip-floppy and whack towards everybody. In comes Kayla finally to the housewarming party, and her outfit looks super cute as Liv and Kendall are talking about how wrong it was for Kendall to invite Caleb, Kendall takes it upon himself to call Kayla over so they can all talk about the conversation, while he continues to downplay the situation, downplay Kayla's feelings, telling her it's not that big of a deal, this isn't that deep, XYZ. I hate when people try to tell you how you should be feeling about something that happened to you. Like, Kendall, please shut the fuck up. Like, this entire exchange that he had, and he's over here trying to play victim as if he doesn't know. Oh, I don't even know why you guys are coming at me like this. Why are you doing all this? It's not that big of a... It's like, Kendall, please, just ugh. Like, I have no other words to sprout out about Kendall, because it's just crazy the fact that he's trying to play everybody for a fucking fool, as if we can't clearly see what bullshit you're on. So now he wants to give some bullshit apology like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Anyway, and Kayla immediately clocks it that it's a Band-Aid apology. It's a here damn apology, because you don't really think that you did anything wrong. Clearly, you keep saying it's not that big of a deal. You don't think you did anything wrong. You're just apologizing to say you apologize, and it's not a genuine apology. You can keep that shit. Next! My bad. Actually, Serena and Cordell are the last ones to show up. Now we have our ending sequence with Kayla and Aaron talking on the roof, which I was surprised initially to see them having any conversation, but Aaron tries to ask Kayla how she's been feeling in her life, if she's happy, what she's been up to. And Kayla basically lets it be known that she's not very happy in her life right now. She doesn't know if she likes being an influencer or if she wants to continue to be one. And she just says overall she was happier with her life before she went in the villa. And it's clear based off of how much she's changed since being out of the villa versus when she first started. And that's sad to know that Kayla's spark has dimmed a little bit versus when she first got into the villa. You can just see she doesn't have that light in her eyes that she used to have. So I hope she is another person that takes the time that she needs to find herself again and separate herself from this social media influencer, LA toxicity culture of it all. Kayla is going to be taking a trip back home to visit her family, and she lets us know how excited she is and how much she hates LA. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how many people end up staying in LA longer, or if they ever come back, or if they even do a season 2, because it just seems like this is now the third person, Aaron, Connor, and now Kayla, fourth person, Aaron, Connor, Kenny, and now Kayla is saying that they don't like the influencer lifestyle. They don't like the LA culture. They don't like the life that they have right now. They were happier with the life that they used to have. So I'm very interested to see how each of them are going to move when it comes down to choosing what they want to do with their life, since now they're thrust in this position that they agreed to ultimately, but now that they have gotten out of the show and they have the notoriety, they have the social media following, it's almost like you're kind of stuck doing that in a way. Yes, you can go back to a normal life and get out of the spotlight, but I feel like when people go on reality TV and they get used to that, they get a taste of that, in a way, they don't want to let that go. They like the attention. It validates them. It validates their ego. It makes them feel better about themselves, in my opinion. So I feel like that is one of the reasons why the people that have expressed that they don't like influencers, they don't want to be in LA, they don't like the environment, haven't just stopped being around it altogether, haven't gotten off this show so they don't have to be around it altogether. You know, I just feel like there is always going to be that reason, regardless of what they don't like, to still choose to stay in the lifestyle. Erin tries to give her support as she explains how lonely and stressed she's been since she's been in LA. He tries to really let her know how important it is to prioritize herself. And I think she really needed to hear that, because if we're going to be real, most of everything about Kayla has been about somebody else. We don't see her do any personal, like, internal work. It's always about what everyone else is doing, how they treated her. So I do hope that Kayla takes that time that she really does need to find herself again and get back to a good mental place. So they keep having a cute back and forth conversation. Everything is cool. It's calm vibes. And Kayla tells Aaron that she still has one of his t-shirts and she sleeps in it because it's comfortable. I don't know why you would say that if you were not trying to give some inclination that you still have some sort of feelings for him. And she keeps saying that she doesn't want Aaron, blah, blah, blah. Girl, there would be no other reason why you would tell him you still have a shirt of his and you sleep in it every night. Surprisingly, that gives Aaron a reaction that I was not expecting. It just seems like Aaron actually liked that response. From there, they have a cute little moment where Aaron helps Kayla take her shoes off so she can get more comfortable. They go over to the corner at a table to talk even more. And Aaron takes off his hoodie, gives it to Kayla, which I thought was cute, but it's making me confused. I'm confused. I'm confusion. Based off of this conversation, it definitely gave vibes that it's clear they both still have feelings for each other. And at the end, Aaron beats around the bush for a second, but essentially he asks Kayla out on a date. He wants them to hang out. What other reason would it be for, first of all, for you guys to be having this conversation this long, for you to ask her over and over and over again if she's happy, and for you to be taking off her shoes, for you to be giving her your hoodie, for you to be asking to hang out more. It's just like, all of those things to me aren't signifying you just want to be completely platonic. This is a possible rekindling, perhaps? Because the way that they're talking to each other is definitely giving me that vibe. But then again, I have to go back to my findings that I saw on Kayla and Torrance Instagram, and they both still have photos of them kissing and holding and touch and all this stuff. So I'm just like, Kayla, which one is it? Are you going back with Aaron or are you with Torrance? Please make it make sense. And of course, we're going to be getting more information on that as the season goes on. But as of right now, we need to put a bookmark in this because it is getting good. So that is my recap for episode 3. I did enjoy it. I felt like they are finally progressing from episode 1 and 2, where they literally talked about the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm like, now we're getting some new things going on and I'm liking where the direction of the show is going. So I'm excited for episode 4. We are going to check in next week. Bye.